I wanted to share a video on what it is like to live with Kundalini energy. Kundalini, this divine, creative, raw life force energy, is such a big part of my work and such a big part of my life that I wanted to share what it was like to live with the Kundalini energy, to um, live through the Kundalini awakening and not just chase it. So it's not what you might think it is. My Kundalini has woken up quite gradually in comparison to some who have had a spontaneous awakening. Um, my spontaneous Kundalini rising happened when I was actually in surgery for breast cancer, and it had been slowly waking up basically since I was diagnosed. So I had some quite powerful experiences as I was going through chemotherapy, exploring deeper meditation, um, specifically meditation with Dr. Joe Dispenza, whose techniques work with Kundalini energy, even though he doesn't necessarily express that. Um, so my energy has risen quite gradually, and I had this spontaneous, well, until recently. So I had this spontaneous rising experience, and then I never thought much of it, other than that I wasn't allowed to drive because it happened while I was under anaesthetic, and all of these, the doctors, it was a neuro problem, is she epileptic? The tests could not show that there was anything wrong with me. Um, but I had what appeared to be a seizure, and you ask anybody who was in the room when it happened, everybody has a different version of events. So nobody knows what happened. It doesn't fit the textbooks. I knew what had happened because it was what I had been learning about in the weeks before. And I was telling the doctors quite brazenly it was due to my meditation. It wasn't what you think it is. And they humoured me. They humoured me. They humoured me throughout a lot of my cancer treatment because I was very alternative in my approach, shall we say, to what they're probably normally used to. So I was experiencing changes in my life, and I put it down to the fact that I'd just been released from the hospital from uh, like cancer treatment, and I knew that I wanted my life to change, and my career was changing, relationships were changing, but it's all very textbook what happens in a Kundalini awakening. Things change in your life, and you can't necessarily prepare for them. They're not necessarily what you want or the ego wants. That is very much out of your comfort zone. It really pushes you. But I very quickly slipped into a dark night of the soul. I'd kind of been on this high of healing from cancer and being in complete survival, literally physical survival, trying to heal from cancer. When I came out of it, I slipped into a dark night of the soul, where I didn't know who I was. I had to refine myself. I was going through a deep shadow work process, and I was questioning my entire life for a couple of years, and trying to rebuild my life. So what principles am I rebuilding my life on? And at this point, I went through such a deep dive into spiritual realms, like spiritual truths, universal truths, the Hermetic principles, shadow work, Jungian philosophy, Jungian psychology, Eastern philosophy, neuroscience. I went on this massive journey, which you could call the awakening. I started to wake up um, to what was reality, right? My reality, the reality that I'd chosen, and I did a lot of really deep work. So as I was going through this, I signed up for a course, an intimacy course with an amazing lady called BB. You might follow her on Instagram. If you don't, go and check her out. She's very empowering. my life was crumbling as I was going through this course. And but it was helping me to find my power again. And she had a module on Kundalini and sexual energy, and using it to manifest. And I was like, this lady was explaining Kundalini, and I had this heart-stopping moment where I went, that's exactly what happened to me. And I was in a bit of shock, and I was like, right. And so I reached out to BB and I told her, she was like, you need to do this thing called Kundalini activation. It changed my life. So I start researching what is Kundalini activation. I was like, wow, okay, start researching more about Kundalini. Because at this point, I didn't really know what Kundalini was. This is maybe a couple of years after my cancer episode. And so started doing Kundalini activations, and I had no idea what was happening. But what I did notice was, like, my life, it kind of helped shake the snow globe of my life and the work that I was in and the dark night of the soul, and help things fall back into alignment. So Kundalini activations sessions really, really helped me to change my life, rebuild it, find work that was aligned with me, like really build my coaching business, find a sense of self again, begin to fall in love with myself again, begin to create, move out of survival and back into creation mode. It really helped me to connect to the next chapter of my life. And I'm so grateful that I, followed the synchronicities, followed the little hints and nudges that led me down this path. And I know it's a true path because it had been circling me for a couple of years, literally circling me for a couple of years. And eventually I found the path. And then I trained as a Kundalini activation facilitator. Again, life changed. And it's so that was nearly a year ago now. And since I trained as a Kundalini activation facilitator, that things have got really fucking weird. Basically, when you train to be a facilitator, you go through really intense like energy clearing. We do a lot of activations, and when you open up to hold the frequency for any energy, your channels have to be cleared, and to be a good facilitator, you have to have a clear energy system. So living with the energy really is, you have to live your life in your highest alignment, because otherwise Kundalini Shakti will help you live it in alignment. She will clear your path, basically. Wherever there's resistance, she will clear it. So things started to get really interesting when I trained as a facilitator. It was like after about, 2 months, I started speaking light language. Really, really, really intensely feel the energy in my body. So I can close my eyes and I can tap into the Kundalini and I can communicate with her. I can talk to her, and I do quite often, especially on nights where she keeps me up. If you're awake between 3 and 4, it's known as like spiritual hour, witching hour, Kundalini hour. So there is a time where the veil is very thin between worlds, and your Kundalini energy is the divine feminine to the divine masculine, which the two polarities that make up the universe. So as Kundalini rises to meet consciousness, to become one with consciousness, you're expanding your capacity, you're expanding your consciousness, your capacity to understand reality, to live a true reality, to live as your authentic self, one that is one with the creator, one with the all that is, giving you more free will, more power. It's very, very powerful energy to work with. And so living with this energy, you really have to live an intentional life. You kind of have to choose a path to devote yourself to, whatever word to dedicate yourself to, whatever word you want to choose. You have to choose something to devote yourself to, and follow it, you have to devote yourself to life, basically, when you're on a path of Kundalini awakening. What we resist persists. So if you are experiencing an awakening, but you're resisting what is asking to be released, you're going to get yourself stuck in suffering, potentially enter a dark night of the soul, or some deep challenges. So living with Kundalini is one of the most magical. I love it. I am living a very, very magical life. Like, sometimes I have to come back and kind of ground myself and, just strip the spiritual practices back and just really do human things. But sometimes I do that for a while. I'm like, I need the magic again. Where's the magic? Like, it does give life a very magical tint because there are more synchronicities. You are following your highest path. Your energy is more alive. You are more alive. When you're out of alignment, your whole system screams you're out of alignment. And then, it doesn't mean the path of alignment opens up straight away for you. It means that you are then kind of, given choices, decisions to make from expansion rather than fear and contraction. But Kundalini energy makes life sacred. It honestly has made my life worth living when there were moments going through cancer treatment and after cancer treatment where I questioned life. And it has given a new meaning to being alive. And it's very powerful, it's very beautiful, it's very magical. It's not always pleasant. Sometimes there are side effects, like the 3 a.m. wake up calls. For instance, last night I couldn't sleep. And sometimes I question, is this real anxiety or is this the energy? And if I tap into it, I can feel the energy. So, there is very much a learning how to manage the energy, learning how to manage living life. Your body has to adapt. So your body has to have time to adapt to the energy. You have to, when your Kundalini starts to rise, you do go through like a whole neurobiological upgrade. Your cells upgrade. So there is a lot of detoxing. There is a lot of shedding of the body, of the mind. There is a lot of release. And that is ultimately what Shakti does. Like, she releases what is blocking your energy centers, what is blocking the channels for your energy to flow and rise. Kundalini clears that so that your energy can flow, and then you have access to more creative energy. You have more access to your dharma, your path of highest potential. And so you need to be prepared to know what it is that you want to create with this life. You need to know how to manage the energy, how to this is why the ancient yogis, kept Kundalini a secret, because the energy is so powerful that humans aren't necessarily ready for it. So you have to go through decades of spiritual practice to prepare your body, your nervous system, your mind for holding this energy. And if you aren't prepared to hold it, that's when things like mental health, psychosis, the kind of scary stories that Kundalini is attached to, like, that's when that can happen, when you're not prepared for it. There are ways you can prepare for it. I fully believe anybody on this path needs a meditation practice to help you discipline the mind, to help you have a devotional practice, have a disciplined practice that helps you to live your life intentionally and in alignment. And also, you can bring yoga into this, you can bring exercise into this. You need to have a practice that's going to keep you grounded, because Kundalini energy, like I say, I started speaking light language a few months ago, and psychic abilities turn on. I can now see and write light codes, and one of my friends now channels spirit, and I've channeled other entities. Like, these things can happen, and so it's very easy to live up here. We need to remain human. We are still human. I have a joke with a friend who is an earth priestess. Like, she is amazing. She is so grounded and rooted in her femininity and in her body. She is so embodied. She really inspires me. And we have a joke that I don't know where my root chakra is, and I go to her when I need to find my root chakra, because the Kundalini can really, help you rise, but you need to remain in your body. And having a grounded spiritual practice will help you stay in your body to manage the energy. So, meditation helps discipline the mind, yoga, dancing, exercise. I love lifting weights, Pilates. Also, going to a Pilates class really does help keep me human, especially where I live. My teacher is amazing. All of these things help you to stay in your body, really be in your body as you're living with this energy. It is so important. The energy doesn't want you to try and transcend the human life. It wants you to bring the energy back into human life so you can create. So you need to know where you're going, what you want to create. And if you get quiet and listen, you'll be told, you'll be shown what it is that you're here to create. Deep down, you just need to clear some of the fog, the noise that's in the way. And that's what things like shadow work, that's what meditation does. All of these practices will help you clear that fog and find your path of highest alignment. And that path might also just accidentally find you. Like Kundalini accidentally found me, shadow work accidentally found me. And then I knew straight away I wanted to be a coach, and I let go of my nearly 10-year-old jewelry business. But yeah, so living with the energy takes devotion, takes dedication, takes love, takes intention, takes discipline. Did I say discipline? It takes something quite grounded to live with the energy and really use the energy and really have the energy work with you, rather than run away with it. And awakening your Kundalini is not about awakening spiritual, supernatural ability. It is about, what am I here to create? How can I live fully alive? How can I inspire this in others? How can I show the way? How can I live in my Dharma? How can I live in my highest potential? That is what your Kundalini ultimately helps you to do. And on the way, you will clear, you will heal. You will become you will learn to love yourself. You will heal. You will go on a path of emotional release, seeing your wounds, seeing your patterns, your behaviors that aren't serving you, seeing your conditioning. Kundalini needs shadow work. You need shadow work because she pushes stuff to the surface that have been long forgotten. So you can heal them and you can face them and you can move through them. So this is shadow work is a huge part of living with Kundalini. And a lot of my clients come to me for the Kundalini activations. We end up doing shadow work together as well, because like I say, the two go hand in hand. You need them. This is a whole life path. This becomes your life for a chapter maybe, and then maybe you move on, but it does take it. You have to really be devoted to living a certain way. And it helps activate your creativity, like your hidden gifts, talents, abilities that you can bring into the world. Like, I'm getting back in touch with my musical self, with my artistic self, with my creative writing, all of these things this week, when the energy has been, I say every now and then I go through like energy, DNA activations, light activations, where the energy just is like quite a lot. And after that, something changes, like something falls into alignment, like a new client finds me that just had to find me in the most weird way, or I discover that, I want to learn music again, I want to ride a horse again. Like, these things that I used to do as a child are coming back into my life and really helping me find pleasure, to light up my life again. So living with the energy has so many beautiful, beautiful side effects, as well as the kind of the ones that you need to prepare for. And life isn't just about living in the light. Life is about embracing the darkness, embracing the light. I wrote something about that in my journal this morning, about kind of dancing with the darkness and using it to radiate light. And I think that's what, that's what a well-balanced life looks like. Um, and living with this energy, like this is what all spiritual practices are designed for, but most people don't know that. Most people have no idea what Kundalini is, unless it has found you. If you're watching this video, I'm guessing Kundalini has found you. Maybe you have an interest, maybe you've had a spontaneous awakening, maybe you've attended one of my Kundalini activations, or another facilitator's activation, and you're just curious what the energy will look like in your life. I can tell you, it's funny, when the girls who trained me, who now I help on their facilitator trainings, they would say, there's a life before Kundalini activation and a life after Kundalini activation, which is true. And that's what Kundalini is here to help you rise into your most magnificent self. And that is basically what's happened to my life. And I'm so grateful for it. And I'm so grateful that I get to share this path with others. And if you're watching this video, I hope it's helped you in some way. If you're having any challenges with the energy, or you have any questions about the energy, please put them in the comments and I will answer to the best of my ability. Please know that with this video, with all of my work, I share from my own experience. I can only share from my own experience. There have been real high positives with this. There have also been some shaky moments. I really hate being woken up in the middle of the night, but it's something I'm learning to see as sacred, like how blessed I am to be woken up by such a powerful, powerful force. So yeah, if there's anything else you'd like to know about this energy or this work, again, pop it in the comments and I'll see what I can do. Maybe record a video on it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hit the thumbs up if you have, and hit subscribe just to support the channel, and helping get this work out there. So yeah, have a beautiful day and I will see you soon.